Portland Spice TV, senior attorney at law, Bert Samuels. Mr. Samuels, morning.
Good morning. You're on our television?
Yeah, man, we have television and we have radio.
Okay, good, man.
Yes.
Congrats. How long now you're television?
We have always been television as well, though. Always.
Okay, good, man.
Yes, man.
Good.
Welcome to the show, Bert.
Yeah,
As I said, I want to talk to you this morning about governance and something about the Constitution and our country is supposed to be run. Bert, what is referred to as a banana republic? When people say you're running the country like a banana republic, what do they mean?
What it means that there is no democracy. It's not. The banana republic are usually run by dictators who are not accountable to the people. It's a derogatory term used for black countries, so I have to be careful how I accept it.
Right. Oh, it's just for black countries? I think it's just for countries when I run good.
Yeah, but this banana is grown in our area. There are two meanings. There's a connotation of racism in it.
All right.
But general principle is that it's a state that does not. It's a failed state.
All right. So we say governance. Explain to us, Bert Samuels, why is it necessary for parliamentarians to submit filings to the Integrity Commission and for the Integrity Commission to certify and for the Prime Minister and the leader of opposition for a summary to be made public? Why are these important?
It's important because not parliamentarians are like public servants. So it's not just parliamentarians. They are servants of the people. And they should show, because they're in such great powers of influence, they're in positions of influence. That influence can cause them to get wealth which is not accounted for. So you give them a contract for $2 billion and you get some money from him. You take it and you go and you lodge it down in a small island or something. And eventually the Integrity Commission says, show me your books. Show me your earnings. Show me your earnings of your spouse. Not just that. You have to show the earnings of your spouse.
Yes.
It's a method of controlling that, and in Jamaican talk, it is that you're not taking a bribe.
Yes.
Plain talk.
So you're not taking no kickback.
Yeah, because you are in a position where you can get kickback.
Exactly. So you give a man a contract, him give you back a 500 million, or him give you back $1 billion outright.
Yeah. So it can't go in, and it has to. If you are to accept it, it go in your account. Or go in a company in which you have shares. So you tell it, but you see, they can get people who take bribes can get around it. You know, you can say, give the money to John, who is your school mate.
Mm-hmm.
So them still can circumvent it. You know, public servants can circumvent it, but you know that is it.
So, like when a man lodge money to my account and you can't know who lodged the money, that's a red flag.
More than a red flag, but even if you're not a public servant, the bank has to ask you, Shaka, you lodged $2 million. What's the source of that fund? So even outside the Integrity Commission, the banks are required to KYC, know your client.
Yes.
So,
now, in a country where you have parliamentarians who are not certified by the Integrity Commission, does that cause any problem, Bert?
I don't understand certified, that they are not compliant.
So the Integrity Commission, you file to the Integrity Commission, and the Integrity Commission say we cannot certify this filing based on other issues.
That is trouble, because you how do you go out to the people and how do you represent me when your earnings are not certified by a commission that is set out to be done? I wouldn't want you to represent me because you're not circumspect. You're not circumspect. The parliament is not a private institution, you know, because I'm a lawyer. Mm-hmm. Nobody can come to me and ask me where I get my money from, you know. Mm-hmm. I mean, yes, if I'm going to bank it, but I'm not a public servant. But once I say I want to be a member of parliament, I take an oath to follow the Constitution of Jamaica, which assumes that I will abide by the rules.
Mm-hmm.
Come sit with us.
Which assumes that I will abide by the rules.
Mm-hmm. And you swore and you took an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution.
Yeah, that's what every parliamentarian does that. On a Bible. They use a Bible too. Don't forget that.
Yeah. No, for good governance, Bert, if you are asked as a parliamentarian to submit your personal expense to the Integrity Commission and you refuse, what does that say?
That's more than a red flag. That is a burning flag. It means that you have something to hide, So you can't represent people when you're refusing to show that. You remember, the parliamentarians say, I am honest, and
Yes.
I expect my constituents to be honest people. So you're not leading by example. It's like a father who is a thief, and him children find out say, Daddy not honest.
Why is parliamentarian referred to as honorable? What does that mean?
Oh yes, it means just what it says. It means that you have a status, that your reputation cannot be held in question. You're supposed to be honorable.
Above
Judges
reproach.
are called honorable. Honorable is a title for judges, and honorable means that you carry honor with you. It means that you're circumspect, not that you're perfect, but you will comply with the rules. When you look at me and say Bert Sam is not an honorable man, it means that I'm a scammer. I can't be trusted.
The Integrity Commission, Bert, we realized that the former chairman was Justice Seymour Panton. And we know of another senior judge. And I'm not remembering her name right now.
Beswick. Mrs. Beswick.
Justice Beswick. Why is it that they use senior judges to head an organization like this? Is there a reason for it?
It's good. I mean, retired judges in Jamaica are expected to be able, because when they were judges, they're supposed to dispense justice equally and fairly, irrespective of who comes before them. So a judge is really supposed to be blind. Judge is not supposed to know which party, and if he knows the party, you're supposed to recuse yourself. If it's your cousin, your schoolmate come before you, you have to ask another judge to try the matter. So judges are used for things like the Integrity Commission because they have a long history of impartiality.
So we saw the judge that was supposed to try Ruel Reid. One of the judges at least said that they're not going to try the case because Ruel Reid was his head boy.
Yes, that's true. And that is what you call, you recuse yourself. And if it is found out afterwards, then it can be a ground of appeal either by the prosecution that the judge failed to declare the connection between himself and a litigant.
Yeah. So therefore, the judge recuse themselves, and at the Integrity Commission, it is supposed to be that they also understand and able to interpret the law.
Yeah, and that's a good thing about judges. In the Integrity Commission, they're going to be called upon to interpret the law, interpret the rules. So it's a very good idea to put a lawyer, because judges are lawyers, in that position.
Yeah. So I said this morning that the Integrity Commission, as far as I am aware, have an impeccable record, because I can't remember them carrying nobody to court and lose, Bert. I don't know if you know of any.
Why they carry my client and I never win one yet, because usually it's a failure to. The most common one is failure to declare.
Right.
Failing to declare or insufficient declaration.
And they have
you have a Benz,
yes,
and you don't declare it? How come? You forget Benz?
And is it safe to say that they are thorough based on what we have seen from them thus far?
Yes, because you see, when it comes down to the bottom, they go into your account. They look at what you have. All your bank accounts have to be declared to them, and they are allowed to go into the banking system.
Yes.
That's the thing that your listeners should know. They have access to all the banking institutions in Jamaica. They have access to the insurance companies.
Yes.
They can go to the insurance company and say, tell me all the cars that Shaka is insured with you.
Yes.
And they can go and find. So if you're hiding anything, they can uncover it pretty easily.
So when they say the Prime Minister have 28 bank accounts, is because they know it for a fact?
Oh, well, they would have seen his name on it. Yeah. Unless, but sometimes, you make mistakes because you can have two Shaka.
Yes.
So,
all right.
So when they say you have 28, you have a responsibility to say, no, I have 21.
Mhm.
Those 7 are not mine because they
Yes,
give you an opportunity, to rebut what
definitely.
they're saying. Yeah.
Yes, they do give you that opportunity. A listener is saying to ask you about the issue with I don't remember the guy name who was supposed to be acting director of corruption prosecution, and they said he's friends with Dayton Campbell. Dayton Campbell went to his wedding and was a part of his bridal party. Does that stop him from being the director of corruption prosecution?
No, let me tell you why it couldn't. If Dayton comes before him, he may have to recuse himself, that individual.
Yes.
And you remember that the Integrity Commission, Miss Beswick, I think, explained
Yes.
that Jamaica is a small country and people are going to know people. So the fact that you participate in a person's wedding does not mean that she should exclude any of that person from it. So if you Google her response to it,
Yes.
that is what you call a level-headed person saying Jamaica is small. There's somebody is always good. But Shaka, you know, I'm only for JLP friend.
Of course.
Oh.
Of Wally. No. People are matching that, Bert, with Dennis Chung as the head of the FID. And the fact that Dennis Chung made some statements as it relates to the Integrity Commission report on the Prime Minister. What is the difference with that, if there is any?
All right, so let me tell you, this is kind of you came into politics now. Let me just see if I can say it here.
No, let's do it as governance, not politics.
If an individual is under investigation by an organization and you have made statements which could be said to be taking up, let me use Jamaica, like you take up for the person.
Yeah.
Then it looks a little unwise, it is unwise for you to take up the reins of that institution when you had taken a position on an issue which is being decided. Remember, the issue is not yet closed,
Right.
So if the matter is, put it this way, in court language, the matter is part heard, right?
Yes.
And you coming to sit in the seat now, I would refuse that job. I wouldn't want to come under a cloud of being that I might have to recuse myself. But there's another element of criticism about it. You don't want to go to the next point.
Talk to me.
Well, what they said, this is what I'm hearing, I stand corrected, that part of the requirements for the job require that you're supposed to have X amount of years as a, investigator?
No, 12 years in law enforcement and 5 years as at a senior position in law enforcement.
All right, fine.
And that was removed.
Those are the requirements. So what John Public is saying, if that was removed, if you remove that, you might be cutting the jacket to fit another person.
You
alter a jacket
yes.
so it can fit another man.
Yes.
That's what is being said. And I think that for transparency, if that is true, because I know, I don't want nobody to me, if that is true, that the requirements were altered.
Well, what we can tell you, Bert, in November when the job was first advertised, the requirements of 12 years in law enforcement and 5 years in a senior position was in the advertisement. In January,
that's 6 months ago.
Right. So in January now, that was changed to say 12 years in a senior managerial position.
So yes, the public cannot be said to be wrong if it says this jacket is now tailored to fit another person. And that's, you see, because the Integrity Commission is, the process should have integrity. The process to select the head of the Integrity Commission should have integrity.
Or the head of the FID.
Head of the FID.
Yes.
Head of the FID, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah, man, no problem.
It is a senior investigating body,
Yes.
It is supposed to have on a blindfold, don't care who coming before it.
Exactly. You and I had spoken already about a law that lawyers must also report certain financial transaction, and I think the lawyers took that to the Privy Council.
I will lie.
And you lost because the Integrity Commission and FATF wanted this. And I think that was about 2023?
Yeah, that is true. We lost that one. And what it really means is that one of the canons, one of the principles of lawyer-client relationship is confidentiality. That means Shaka is supposed to come and tell me, listen, I did so and so, and I'm telling you, I'm confessing to you, and I cannot tell anyone that it was so. And that confidentiality for lawyers is absolute. It's not absolute for doctors. It's not absolute for any other profession, but it's absolute for us. In other words, nobody can ask us. Now, what that kid said that if Shaka comes to me and carries $3 million to give me to buy somewhere, I am supposed to report him as him walk through the door.
Mm-hmm.
As him leave my office, I must report my own client.
And the lawyers didn't want to do that?
No, but then Shaka hear that I'm an informer. What am I like? You don't have to answer that. What is likely to happen?
Yeah. And then you might not get no more work either.
That is it, because they post from me.
But the lawyers lost that case and said that you must report.
Now we have to report. Now we have to report our clients for suspicious transactions. Once it looks suspicious, and cash transactions are by themselves suspicious.
I ask you that question, Bert, because in the same time that law was passed, there was one dealing with the Companies Act that you must declare who own the shares and assets.
Oh, yes, that's a new requirement. No, you have to declare and give data and information as to who. Yeah, in other words, your ID, photographs, all those things are now new regime.
And that's since 2023.
That's true.
And therefore, if we have people who have shares in trusts for other people, does that mean that they must declare to the company's office that these shares are not mine and it should be on the document?
Yeah, it should be, because that is another way of concealing wealth, you know. So you get practice to face your financial affairs, and that they are trying to, every little loophole, they are trying to cover it.
And that ties in with the FID and the FATF jurisdiction and laws. So if we have parliamentarians that are not declaring their shares or who they are holding shares for in a company, is that illegal?
Well, I don't want to use the word illegal, but you must admit that you are doing that, If I form a company now and to avoid anything, I put it in the name of my 18-year-old son who don't have a job. What that means? Where him get money from to get shares?
Mm-hmm. All right, somebody.
They must. Your wife have to make declarations.
Once you live together. Somebody's saying that I should ask you, and let me just check out the time here. Somebody's saying that I should ask Bert about the IC not publishing the overseas financial audit report. How that work, Bert? Do you think they should have published that?
No, I don't know. I don't know enough about that.
You don't know enough about that. All right, so let's go back a little bit to the Integrity Commission. What weight does the Integrity Commission carry, Bert? If they don't certify a politician, it just don't mean nothing? What weight it carry?
Remember, criminal proceedings are taken against people who breach the rules, You have to face the court. It goes to the DPP. Or what's the name of that body again?
The Director of Corruption Prosecution?
Yeah, that is where you're heading. I have represented, and the funny thing is I represented about 2 high-ranking police officers because their declarations were not full and fulsome, and senior civil servants.
Yeah.
Senior civil servants for just failing to file a complete report is an offense.
Isn't it an offense when the Integrity Commission asks you for certain document and you don't deliver it?
You try to give information. It's an offense. and therefore the DPP usually rule on it. Some people forget to file their things, and they come before the court, and the judge goes easy on them. But when you make a specific request and you refuse to give it,
yeah.
that's trouble, you know, bro.
But I don't want to bring into the politics, Bert. But the Integrity Commission said that they asked the Prime Minister for his personal expense. And, well, the Prime Minister said his lawyer told him not to hand it over.
Well, the matter is before the court, so, you know, I don't want to comment on it.
All right, so don't comment on that. But tell us finally. No, I have one more question to ask you about the Constitution before I let you go. But I want to understand, the Prime Minister has taken the Integrity Commission to court. How does that look on the face of it? Not getting into the detail, but the fact that the Prime Minister has taken the Integrity Commission to court.
No, well, in my law, my thing, the rule of law says every person can access the court.
Yes.
As a lawyer, and I'm only going to give it the lawyer answer, he has the right
yes.
to anything in the court.
Yes.
It may have political repercussion, but I don't want to comment on that.
On the right, but legally, he has every right to take this to court to satisfy himself.
And I support any Jamaican, including the Prime Minister, who wants to take a matter to court.
Right.
If I were his political advisor now, I may have a different view, but
don't give us that view. Let me ask you this about the Constitution now, Bert. When you have an administration who have lost 7 constitutional cases, a government that swore, and PJ Patterson changed the oath of office to the Jamaican people and to uphold and defend the Constitution, and you have lost 7 constitutional cases, what does that say about the administration?
Well, tell me now. Don't use the word administration. You give me 7 cases, I'm going to lose the 7 of them. No, I don't say give me 10 and I lose 7. You know. You give me 7 and I lose 7. Maybe.
Bert Samuels, thank you very much for coming on this morning, my brother.
Love.
Blessings, man. One love.